This video today is us taking a deeper dive into your unfinished business and what that feels like and learning how to resolve that. So it's one of those things that you'll hear people talking about, oh, you got to deal with your unfinished business. But it's learning to explore what that actually is and what that looks like in your life. And I remember when I learned this valuable tool, and again, I'm going to give credit to Dr. Norm Shealy and Carolyn Mace in a course that I took with them a number of years ago, was the understanding of what that actually felt like, because throughout my life I had heard people talking, oh, you always got to deal with your unfinished business and da 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 da, but I never really fully understood what that looked like, or at least what lens I could look through that with to find some clarity. So I'm going to offer that to you today, and it might just give you an entirely different perspective on what you know to be your fears. Okay, so let's just break this down exactly the way it was broken down for me. So up on the screen, you should be seeing some bullet point pieces of information, and I'm going to go through this with you. So the first one to understand is that emotions are physical sensations or feelings resulting from perceptions of safety or threat. Let me read that to you again and let that sink in. Your emotions are physical sensations or feelings resulting from perceptions of safety or threat. Okay? Safety equals joy and contentment. When you feel safe, you feel good. When you feel threatened, you feel fear. And I think everybody can agree with that. Now let's break down what fears look like, because you're going to have an aha moment here. Fears fall into 5 categories. The first one is loss of life. Second is loss of love. Third is loss of money or your security. Fourth is loss of health. And the fifth fear falls into conflicts of meaning of purpose. So all of your ethical issues fall into this. Now, there are only 4 reactions to fear. There's tons of synonyms, but there are only 4 reactions to fear. Here's where your emotions come in. You'll have never thought of your fears this way. Anger, anxiety, guilt, and depression. You will have always considered those to be your emotional state. These are the windows to your fears. This is the perceptional lens that you need to now look through. So let's break this down. Anger. So it is useful if you use it to stop the fear, but it becomes dysfunctional if you keep staying angry. It drains your energy. It takes the joy out of life if you're angry about everything. Okay? Anxiety. Anxiety are usually fears about future events. Depression takes us backwards in our history. Anxiety are fears of the future. That's how you can distinguish those two. Guilt, anxiety and guilt, they're actually both useful if they lead to actions that resolve the problem. But most people, when they're dealing with guilt and anxiety issues, they tend to get comfortable in that space, like those comfortable old shoes. And then you find it difficult to move forward. And depression. So prolonged depression prevents you from personal growth. And depression are fears from your history that have you trapped. Anxiety are fears from your future that haven't happened yet. Okay, and then your anger is always attached to things that you can't control, so i.e. your past or circumstances, relationships, you feel disempowered. And if you understand that those 4 emotions are all fears, it changes your lens of perception. It also changes the equation completely, because now you're not looking for those external fears. Now You're going to start going into the world behind your eyes. And when you catch yourself feeling depressed and angry and anxious, you're going to realize that those are your fears. And these are things that you need to work with. Because the reality is, at the end of the day, it is through our fears that we heal. Very few people are born into the light. And even fewer of us go through this life as an easy journey. Most of us end up going through some type of dark night of the soul experience that changes you. And there's many paths that lead you to the same point. So there are only 3 possible solutions to fear and the emotional reactions to fear. And this is where you get to break yourself down in a detached form. So once you've identified, okay, I'm really anxious about this, I got anxiety going on, that's a fear, then take it that one step further and go, okay, here's my 3 choices to deal with that. You can fight using your anger to bring about a resolution, okay? Or you can leave the situation, and I mean really leave it with joy and acceptance so that you don't have to suffer anymore. Not leave the situation, but still talk about it over here and worry about it over here and complain about it over here. I mean detach, done, period, over with, can't do anything about it, it's out of my control. Because then you're not suffering anymore. This is about your healing, remember? And the third resolution is to kind of go for that, martyr sainthood type of reaction where you learn to accept the things that you can. And the things that you cannot change, you just learn to deal with that and move forward, because you can't hang on to things that you can't fix and move forward in life. It holds you back. It's like those anchors from your past and your trauma. You have to learn to accept the things that you cannot change. And then you got to have the wisdom to know the difference here. So if something is beyond your control, it doesn't matter how anxious or upset you make yourself about it. If it is beyond your control, it is beyond your control. And when it's beyond your control, you need to realize that that's the moment that you have to let go. Otherwise, you will energetically drain your system. This is an amazing way to look at yourself using your emotions as a guide, because now you realize that those negative emotions, those are states of fear. And you may not have ever put those 2 ideas together before, because you always think that fears are external, fear of a plane crashing into your house if you live by an airport, or, fear of drowning, if you go out on a boat because you don't know how to swim. But when you're working in the world behind your eyes, when you're looking at healing yourself, you now must look at your fears through the lens of your emotions. They will give you that perspective as to where you're jammed up, where you need to do some work, where you need to do some letting go of. And maybe just this simple short video today will have given you that aha moment, that moment of clarity and awareness where you went, oh my God, I never thought about it that way before. I never thought about my negative emotions being fears that I carry within my body, within my biology. And so add this as a tool to your toolbox, and watch for more of these short videos where we take a little dive deeper into some of these lovely little tools. And so if you're interested in any of my products or looking further into the course of The World Behind Your Eyes, my meditation chakra series, check out the link to my website in the description below. And if you like this video today, share, like, and subscribe. Thank you for joining me today. See you next time. Thank you for joining me today. See you next time.